Hi to everybody and their neighbor. Welcome back to Gear and Gigs. I'm your host, Jet Stone. So glad you could stop by. I am outnumbered today. That's right. I've got two folks in here on either side of me that are going to be giving me their strongly worded opinions on some pedals. One of these guys is a non-pedal guy, and the other guy is kind of a non-pedal guy. So this is going to be interesting to see if I can convince these guys that this is a decent pedal. Because I'm a pedal guy here at Gear and Gigs, as you know. So I have with me Stacy Venn. Stacy, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Jet?
Good. Thanks for asking. And I have Jason Luthley. Jason, how you doing, buddy?
Terrific. Thanks, Jet.
Great. Super. So we've got somebody from North Dakota, we've got somebody from Texas, and then we got me in Dallas also. So it's kind of a cross-country little review here. Today we're going to be looking at the Earthquaker Effects Dispatch Master, which, you know, they name their stuff in the oddest ways. They try not to give you any hint as to what it does. But in this case, it's a delay and a reverb pedal all in one. Nice handy combination. A lot of people use both, so it's kind of cool to see it in a small footprint. It's all digital. I think they've come up with later versions of this that may have extra switches and whatnot, but this, I believe, is the original version. And we're going to go through its functions, its tones. Today we're going to be listening through a Marshall Class 5, as you can see here. We've got the red Class 5. We've got a tube mic in front of it going into this Focusrite liquid channel, calling up some Neve emulated goodness, going through our Digico S31 for its A to D converters and just a touch of reverb, and then we're going straight into Zoom. No DAW, no post-production, no EQ, compression, none of that stuff. We are all hearing it the same as you're hearing it, and you know, hopefully we can just get some quick opinions and decide whether or not this is a yay or a nay on this particular pedal. Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Got your listening ears on. All right, we're going to be playing a Tele. I've got a custom shop reissue here, relic, straight from the NAMM show. So kindly, the Guitar Sanctuary in McKinney was able to secure that for me. So thanks, Brian and Trey and everybody over at the Sanctuary. We love you guys. So let's establish some benchmark, just regular bass tones here. I'll run through the pickups, get an idea on our clean tone, and then we'll dive into the pedal. Okay. When you see me do this, I'm reaching over and turning off my overhead mic, so you're not hearing any room sound. You're just hearing the mic on the amp. Pretty nice, clean, nothing dramatic in any way, because we're really just going to be listening to the effects. So we're not going to try it with distortion at this point, because we really want to hear the cleanliness of the reverbs and the delays, but I'm sure you guys can extrapolate from what we hear. So let's listen to the reverb first. So for controls, we've got a reverb amount, we've got the repeats for the delay, we've got a mix, and then we've got the time for the delay. So the mix, of course, is going to be for both functionalities. So let's roll up the mix. I'm going to put the mix at about a third of the way up, and I'll start rolling up the reverb from there. I'm going to turn off the board reverb for now.
Do they happen to say what type of reverb they're emulating here? Is it a spring or a plate? Or?
That's a good question. I don't know.
And this is my first listen to any Earthquaker stuff. I actually used to be a little bit of a pedal stomper, but never got to delve into the Earthquaker stuff.
Well, it's pretty high-end, nice, clean stuff, typically very, very well built, and usually pretty idiosyncratic. So each of their pedals has got a little something different. So we'll see what this one has. And as far as the reverb type that it's supposed to be doing, I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and splash that up on the screen now. It's for. All right. So let's give it a listen. So right now we're totally dry. It seems to me to have a little modulation on it. Seems like I can just sense just a bit of a pitch change. Can you hear that?
I wasn't quite catching it, but I'll have to.
Let me turn it up a little bit. Yeah, see if we can hear it a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, I can hear what you're talking about now.
Yeah, in the repeats. It repeats almost like a delay.
I definitely hear a bit of a pitch, like a fall off, you know, and I don't know if it's going back up again, if I'm just catching the rise to the fall or not, but I definitely hear a bit of a modulation going on in there. So that's interesting. Let me try some arpeggiated stuff and see how that works out. It like gives it some life, doesn't it? It seems to just keep it like in your mind a little bit as opposed to just disappearing and you go, oh, that's just a room and you don't think about it anymore. It kind of like keeps it tickling your brain a little bit, at least to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and the faint, it seems like you could have the faintest chorus set in there. That's to my ear.
Yeah, what do you think, Steve?
I think it's a little much. Can you dial the mix back a little bit?
Sure, I just brought it up so everybody could hear it a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
Where were you at about on settings?
I had it about halfway on the mix, right? And now I've taken it down to about 9 o'clock, about 9 o'clock right now.
Yeah, that seems like it gives it that background, reverb thing without being so overwhelming. So I think I like it, but dialed back a little bit like that.
Right. And I get the idea that when you're thinking about pedals, you're thinking about, I want to leave this on all the time. And a lot of people, I think, are looking at pedals going, I'm going to put this on for a special effect, in which case I might want it really, really,
saturated,
strong. Really strong, because I really want to be noticed, as opposed to I'm just using this for reverb. So reverb is one of those things that some people like it really, really loud and they're trying to play with the space, and some people just like it as I don't want to sound dry. I just want a little bit of breathing room in there and a little bit of forgiveness.
Right.
Room forgiveness.
You got that. You nailed me. What can I say?
Wait a minute. That didn't sound right at all. That definitely.
Well,
it's an awkward phrase. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, but
it's
me.
Long reverb. I do. Well, if I'm going to nail you, it's nice that I knew you. I mean, that's just common person, really.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a really long reverb, though. It's not a short reverb. It's a long reverb, and it's thick. It's got a lot of diffusion is what it's called in the reverb world. It's got a lot of diffusion, which means it sounds like it's really doing a lot of bouncing around in there. Maybe that's the delay aspect of it that you're hearing, that bouncing around, but it seems like it keeps doing that longer than a lot of reverbs would want to do that.
Did it seem to your ears when you backed it off that the modulation kind of went away?
I don't know. Let's listen to that. Let me listen to that. I don't know if it's just more noticeable or if it does crank it up. It does seem to be more prominent for sure when you do that, though.
I noticed that a little bit after Stacy had mentioned bringing it down a bit. while you're playing. Not that there were long tails, really, but I was thinking, this sounds like maybe the modulation got less along with that.
Well, I haven't messed with the reverb itself. The reverb knob has been, it's just a little pass straight up and down. Let me take the mix back down to where we had it at 9 o'clock or so and mess with the reverb knob and see what that does. See if that increases our length, see if it messes with the modulation. Let's just take a peek. It seems more like an individual mix more than anything. It doesn't seem to affect the length of the reverb or the thickness or anything like that I can hear. So I think it's a way to decide how much reverb you've got with your delay, but I don't think they're giving you a whole lot of adjustment on the reverb. Let's look at the delay side. Let's see what the delay side. So I'm gonna take out the reverb. Let's see what the delay does. Okay, I didn't expect that last thing to happen. Did you? I mean, it's still going.
Don't make a mistake.
We've all seen that video. Yeah. I'm going to turn it all the way up, all this stuff, except for the level up. But I'm going to take the relay to its fully knob-turned state, and let's see what happens. Okay, that goes a long time. It's a pretty long delay, too. Oh, they're starting to smear.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It doesn't even sound like a guitar anymore.
No.
I'm going to roll up with some reverb. Okay, now if that was the beginning of a song, I would never think, oh, that's a guitar. That's a Tele.
Right.
Okay, so if you're in a delay and having some fun, clearly this is a good pedal to play with because you can do some silly stuff. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, the range on it is tremendous.
Yeah.
Let me go to something short like a slapback and see how that does.
Sometimes it is nice to actually have more range than you need.
Let me add some reverb to that.
Yeah.
The reverb is so long that it doesn't really go with the slapback idea. You almost have to make this an atmospheric pedal. It doesn't seem like it's going to be real rootsy, I don't think, because of the length of the reverb. I think the delay could be, but it doesn't seem like the reverb is meant to be anything but kind of big and spacey. Not Stacy. Space.
Spacey. Yeah. Well, I think you're right about the ambient because I think that for me, it's like the pedals are not usable for like playing a song that you are trying to play a song, right? But if you're trying to create an ambience and those kind of songs, like Rabia does these, really ambient holding notes and all of these things. That he's got a unique way of playing around that. That might be useful for that. It's not in my usual wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jason?
Well, I'm hearing sounds that I could use playing in worship. We do use more ambient stuff.
That's true.
So I think I could fiddle around and find some stuff in that
that'd be cool.
one pedal that would cover both bases for me, probably.
Right. All right, now I'll just try to mess around and see what kind of different sounds I can get now that we've kind of looked at everything individually. Let's see what kind of combination thing I might come up with here.
That's definitely getting into the territory of some things that I would probably use.
Okay.
In what I'm doing.
It's not a shrinking violet of a reverb. I mean, that reverb is really very, very strong.
Yeah, and as you're playing, until you really crack a chord or choke it, it's not standing out that much.
Mm-hmm. But the percussive thing immediately makes it like, ooh, there's that thing. Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to turn it up a little bit and see if I can get just even more atmosphere out of it by cranking it a little bit. It is a strong-minded pedal. It is not for the weak. It doesn't just lay under your sound. It
wants to be the sound.
It wants to be the sound. It does. It does. Yeah. I don't dislike it, but it is kind of specialized, it seems like to me, more than just a generic throw it on and leave it on pedal, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that so right there what you were playing is really really cool, and you can channel the ambient thing. But what you were playing, the last setting you had where it was dialed back just a little bit, was also really musical. You could use it in a situation that it just not where you're trying to get all of this ambience, but where you're trying to just have the reverb sit underneath your playing.
It has to be dialed back quite a bit to get there. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Let me see what the closest I could get to a general sound that anybody could use. Let's see if I can find something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a really seems like a really versatile engine.
It's musical, isn't it? It seems kind of ties in with the guitar sound pretty well. It doesn't seem like it's a separate thing so much as like an extension of the guitar.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. I know it's getting to be more commonplace now to see these combination pedals, two effects in one, and it's no small feat to really nail both of them in one box.
Yeah.
So you may like the flavor of the one effect and not so much of the other, but I hear a pretty wide range of usable tones in there.
yeah.
I think because it's so tied in with the guitar that if I was playing a different guitar, it would really sound, well, let's find out. Because I think if I switch guitars, it's going to sound very, very different. So let's find out. I'll grab a different guitar here just a second.
I try to think about things and doing, I'll wait until you're done tuning.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm just using a Kemper, so it's okay.
No, I mean,
well, you actually want this
you'll probably edit this part out.
I see. All right. So selfishly, you want to be heard. All right, I get it.
Well, I mean, it's about the pedal.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, I hate when this happens.
No, it was a question about being several uses for the pedal, and one is in a situation live, and it sounds like Jason is doing this, where it's you using it to get some ambient effect or something like that. But also there's a studio component about,
That's a good point.
When we do a lot of my songs, you add a lot of things post, because typically I record dry, right? So is this something that you would use in that situation, or you're already in the board and you're doing things in
a lot of times I'll use the console or I'll use plugins for these kind of effects, but I can run out into pedals and come back in. That's not usually a problem. And this might be something I would, because this would be hard to get from plugins, because the delay part I think I could get pretty well, although it's got a certain flavor to use to a character. But the reverb would be a combination of a lot of things to get that particular swirly, thick kind of sound. I'm not exactly sure what they got going on. It's almost like there's a bit of subtle harmonization maybe in there, I mean, it might be very, very subtle, but it's I can't tell if it's a chorus, a flange, or if there's some sort of a parallel something or other processing going on with a pitch shift. I'm not sure. they've managed to come up with at least an interesting recipe here that doesn't sound like a generic reverb. So, and they could have just made it a reverb and delay pedal, but I think they wanted a little special spice, and I think they've done it. Let's. I left the settings the way it was just a moment ago, and all I've done is switch guitars. So now we're going to be with the Zemaitis here playing with the Humbucker. So let's see what that sounds like. It feels different now. And does it sound like, is it just me, or does it sound really pretty different now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sorry. I mean, it sounds like you picked up a different guitar, but it's the same pedal. So, which is
I know
fine.
it is the same pedal. Thanks. I am aware.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it
feels
didn't sound like a whole different animal.
It does to me. It feels different. The delay didn't seem to go as long. It's like the repeats went away quicker than they did with the single coil. The low mids are emphasized, it seems like, in this pedal. It's not a bright pedal. It's definitely not a bright reverb and delay. It's definitely darker, and it's kind of meshing with the lower stuff here. To me, it feels very different than it did on the Tele. I mean, it doesn't have that same lightness of space. It seems heavier
Different.
somehow. Yeah.
Does it have? Can you save a setting as a patch? No, it's a set and forget.
It's like it's almost grabbing different frequencies on the repeats out of this than it did the other guitar. It just, maybe I'm crazy, but it just seems very, very different. Kind of like I thought it would. Actually, to me, I thought it wrapped around the guitar sound so much that changing guitars would really change the effect. And to me, it does. What do you think, Jason?
I hear some of what you're talking about. I'd almost have to hear you, not that I want you to do it right now, but I'd almost like to hear you switch back just to get it, get another chance to listen for that. But
I'll grab a third guitar that's totally different than either one of these, and let's see what that does. I'll grab a Rickenbacker. That couldn't be more different than what we're looking at. And let's see what that does.
I don't know. It's pretty darn cool, but I mean, being able to go like from zero to breakfast, right?
Yeah.
That long of a delay.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's where it is sort of neat. Sometimes you feel like you're limited, like you're not really changing a whole lot. And this one, wow, you're changing a lot. I mean, you have such a huge range.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, let's see what this sounds like. The echoes seem to go longer without me changing anything. All of a sudden, it's like I'm getting more repeats, and the delay seems hotter than the reverb, whereas a minute ago they were more even. I like it up high like that. It gets kind of a nice textural sort of a thing going on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the repeats really for sure modulate, and sometimes in a kind of a surprising way. So kind of nice.
I wonder if there's a bit of randomization in there.
I've got a feeling that they mixed a few tricks into both sides of that pedal. I don't think this is just accidental.
I'm going to try using the board reverb. Take this reverb down and just use the delay from this pedal, because I want to separate them and see how, if they're not interacting, what happens. The delay has got a character to it. It's not your regular everyday delay.
Yeah.
There's something going on there. It's not bright, though. It's a very not bright pedal. So, you know, for a guitar like this should be super bright. And it's just not coming across that way at all. The Tele didn't come across as bright. It just has a
actually,
kind of mellow.
And the Zemaitis actually kind of came out as kind of muted.
Dark, yeah, kind of dark and muted. You're exactly right. Yeah, and that's a pretty strong sounding guitar normally. So it definitely doesn't. It's not brash. It's not pushing you forward. It's not mid-focused or anything like that. It's pretty ambient and swirly with a darker side for sure. So you can probably push it on the front end with some distortion or some other effects like a wah pedal, and it would probably react really, really nicely with that, because I don't think it would ever overexert itself in the top end frequencies. It seems like it kind of keeps everything kind of mellow, kind of laid back about the whole thing. And I kind of like it with the straight reverb, but it loses a three-dimensionality. It becomes way more two-dimensional to me.
Okay.
Well, I think we got to hear something that Jason and I were talking about while you were switching guitars. We got to hear the surf.
The surf?
Can it surf?
Well, oh, okay. All right. Well, this is not the surf guitar, so hang on a minute. All right, so I got a surf green Strat to do our surf tones on here, custom shop relic. All right, let's give this a shot. So I'm not much of a surf player here, so I'll do my best. But let's see. So surf is going to have a slapback delay, right? A short delay, right?
But it sounds like the reverb.
Yeah, we're wanting to see how wild that reverb will get.
So no delay or just a touch of delay? You want a little touch of delay, maybe?
Channel Dick Dale.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the littlest slapback and go wild with the delay. Or wild with the reverb, sorry.
Yeah, the reverb, yeah. I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Those are the tried and true surf things to do, right?
That's right.
I'm not sure it's the right reverb for surf. It seems a little.
Oh man, I'm sold.
You like it? Do you for that?
Yeah, I was feeling that. You know,
It's
I'm
evocative.
finding that, yeah, I'm finding that to be a pretty inspirational pedal. The more you get crazy with it, I could see it being like when you get a new guitar, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like, oh, I got to see what this can do. And then listening to all the different things you're getting out of that, I could mess with that for quite a while.
It seems like the more extreme you make it, the more it's comfortable. The more it's like, oh yeah, this is what I'm trying to do now. Because when you're trying to pull it back subtle, it's like you can make it subtle and quiet, but it's still a kind of an overpowering effect that you just have turned down, and it doesn't seem like it's jiving as much as when you bring it up and let it run. Let
Yeah,
it breathe.
let it do its thing.
Yeah, let it become the sound. Yeah, and for ambient stuff seems like it's pretty cool. Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's pretty damn freaking cool. There you go.
It's pretty spacey. It is. I think we found its niche now. It's all or nothing with this thing. I think it's just like let it go.
Yeah, I can totally see what Stacy was saying earlier about, maybe not an always on pedal and using it for particular pieces.
Right after you said that, maybe not as an always on. Okay,
but at times it does feel like you're sitting there, in the studio, like David Gilmour or Pete Townsend back in the day, just playing with this effect for a certain piece of music.
Right.
And where at times certain settings I found where for me with what I do, I think find always on settings for certain songs. So it runs it kind of runs the gamut.
You need three of them, is what you're saying. You need three of them so you can have three different settings.
There you go.
The mild, the extreme, and then something even wacky.
Right. Well,
and Earthquaker Effects endorses that theory, by the way. They're very...
Right. They're happy about that.
They suggest that, in fact.
I think it's pretty freaking awesome. So
it's not noisy. It's quiet, relatively speaking. It's not really adding any noise, and they're very well built. Earthquaker stuff is just very well built, very reliable, and that kind of thing. And it has a picture of a telephone, an old style telephone on the front. So
which kids these days, they don't know what that is.
You would never know what that is.
Right.
What's that?
I'm voting thumbs up as a studio effect, thumbs up as a specialty effect. Not for me on the board as a regular effect, but if I had an ambient situation, like I was playing worship or I was doing music that I thought, surf. No, if I was doing music that I felt was worthy of that kind of swirly, thick effect, this might be a go-to for me. What's your vote?
Yes. Well, so I'm going to probably maybe surprise you a little bit, being pedal, not really the pedal guy, but I had a rack system in the 80s, and one of the key pieces was a quadriverb.
Oh yeah, the
And
Elise was quadriverb.
yeah, and you could do these kind of things with it. And you could have patches that absolutely worked live, and then you could do, I mean, when you're just playing and practicing, it's really inspiring to do a lot of different things. So I'm thumbs up on it.
Wow.
I'm like you. I wouldn't probably put it on my. I really, for a delay and I mean, we listened to was the Sir Delay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's just a really warm delay. And but this for really inspirational and ambient. So I think, yeah, that's nice. It's right there. You dial it. Way simpler than a quadriverb. Sorry.
Very simple. No presets, more knobs, and that's all there is. Yeah. Jason, what do you think? What's your vote?
Absolutely thumbs up for an inspirational studio tool. I would say, as putting it on my board, even though with everything I've said about, finding those sounds that I could use in a worship setting, I'm not all the way thumbs up on it. I'm probably thumbs
sideways.
Maybe about 3/4. It's something that I could use, but it's not quite what I would want as always on.
Mm-hmm. But as a specialty thing, and
a specialty thing.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, thumbs up.
Interesting. Now, of course, the thumb 3/4, that's what you do when you're hitchhiking, but you're not sure if this is the
the car you want.
I was just scratching my neck. Oh, no, go on. All right, so we've got 2 3/4 thumbs basically, and a thumbs up from the least suspecting source, Stacy. Dude. Wow.
Yeah.
A bit of a shock at the end.
At the beginning of the review, I wasn't expecting that. So
I'm shocked. I'm a little amazed, but hey, that's good news for Earthquaker because he's a hard sell. He really is.
Right.
And I like the pedal. Actually, my wife was kind enough to give me this pedal. This was a birthday gift.
Very nice.
Yeah, so she didn't know what it sounded like, but she thought Reverb, Delay, Earthquaker made a nice recipe for fun, and she wasn't wrong.
Right.
Right.
I do like it. I really like it. It's quiet, it's unusual, and inspiring. I think we all agree it's an inspiring pedal, and that's
absolutely.
What more can you ask for from a pedal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's the verdict on the Earthquaker Dispatch Master from Gear and Gigs. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate it. For Stacy Ben and Jason Luthley, I am Jet Stone. We'll see you next time on Gear and Gigs. Take care. Really appreciate you guys watching to the end, because otherwise, how would you hear this message? You didn't skip ahead. No, you would never do that. Hey, take a moment to like and subscribe, please, and make sure you tell your friends, tell somebody, get the word out. Gear and Gigs, good tone for you and your neighbor. That's right.